All right, this is gonna be well, pretty much you're watching the video. It's more like a podcast, but guess what? I don't have any guests. And it's just me killing rune dragons over and over, but talking about some interesting stuff about RuneScape. So, people are wondering, how do you have money? How do you make money? Well, I make money because a very good friend of mine told me, listen, man, constant money beats dumb luck. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let me give you some context on that. What do you mean, Librain? What are you talking about? I'm glad you asked, my other self. Basically, it means that, for example, let's put it in a very broad term. You are a clue hunter. You go and have all these hard clues and elite clues and master clues, and you're like, dude, I'm gonna get a third age pickaxe and sell it for like 3.8 billion. I'm gonna be rich and everything. Have you ever considered, because not only in RuneScape, there's a tip for life as well, a tip for your entire life that will serve you very well. Um, well, as do Rune Dragons. Let's say that the third age pickaxe, because the chances are like what, 1 in 100,000 or something like that. Let's say the third age pickaxe is taking you, yeah, that amount of time. You know, uh, a year or so, dude. In a year, if you run Rune Dragons, the same amount of time that you put um, trying to get a pickaxe. Let's say if you get one, which probably you won't because it's so rare. That's why people sell it on forums and not on the GE. By the time you get one, probably I will have more cash than you, and you might be thinking, "Well, Lirin, you don't have a life, bro. Look at yourself. You're max. You don't have a life." True. I don't go out much, and I can. I have been always like that since I was a kid, and it's not something new. I never like crowded places, loud people, loud places. I don't even go to concerts for that reason. I don't like to be surrounded by many people. And this was before COVID, just for you guys to know. So there is something that you have to ask yourself all the time with this third age pickaxe analogy. Do you have the time to play, let's say, per hour? How many times can you play per week? How many hours? So, what money making method are you using? Because here's another thing. Here's another thing. A lot of people ask me, "Hey, dude, let's go raiding. Let's go, BBMing. Let's go kill corp. Let's go to kill the nightmare." If I do that, I do that for fun. I don't need to do that for money. Why? Because you might see one account here, but I actually have other two accounts running at the same time as I'm working. And you might be wondering, how is that possible? Well, it depends of the type of work you do, because I assume you have a job. You don't have a job and you just play RuneScape, solid, man. You're rich or you don't need the money. That's great. But most of the your average Joe, or let's say average Jose, because I'm from Latin America, will need a job. So you have to ask yourself what type of job you do. If you do IT and you're remote, you can play RuneScape as you do it, depending on how demanding is your job. So if you are working and playing RuneScape, you're probably gonna do stuff that are AFK, and that's, for example, that's how I max. So why am I going to all of this rambling from the third age pickaxe to this? Because you have to ask yourself how many hours can you play per day, per week, per month, and if what you do is try to hunt an item, like you go to raids 3 and you try to hunt a shadow for 3-4 months, guess what? In that time, base it on what you're playing, you could probably make more money here on the Rune Dragons, even though it's like 1.3 million per hour. The amount of money and time and the headache and everything that you got from doing raids 3, I I easily overpower you in money here. And you can say, yeah, but raids 3 is more interactive, more fun. Yeah, so is the Gauntlet. I love the Gauntlet. I have 3000 KC of the Gauntlet. It doesn't mean that it's good. It's just that it's something that I do for fun. You have to learn to separate that, what you do for fun and what you do for money. What you do for money is your job. What you do for fun is, I don't know, going out with friends, flying a kite, reading a book, um, playing with your cat. But what you do for money has to be strictly money. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Like going to third HP pickaxe hunt for a year or 2 years to get probably like 4 billion. Probably by that time I'll have 8 billion or 6 billion. It'll be more than you. And just by killing these rune dragons that require simple no brain. And I'm not saying limit yourself to rune dragons. I'm saying you can do pretty much anything that you want, but consider the money per hour because that's what we're here for. You play this game for what? For money. Anybody that says, yeah, I played for fun, lying. You always need money for this game. If you're an Ironman, that's a completely different thing. But most of the people that I know, they do raids, they do nightmare, they do whatever for money. So you have to ask yourself, um, is it worth the time that I'm investing? Am I getting my money back? And it's just like people that do raids like for, 10, 20 hours or 30 hours, 40 hours a week. And you ask them, what do you get? I got nothing. Do you get your money back from resources? No, but I will eventually will. And that's the philosophy of the gauntlet. Yeah, I didn't get any drop, but maybe I'll get one on the next one. No, what if you don't? What if you don't get a drop this week and you're getting just a million per hour? Guess what? I'm making more here at Rune Dragons because they can even drop me a Visage or a pair of limbs that is almost 2 million. So basically, you have to ask yourself, do I prefer constant money or get a surprise of big money? Guess what? The surprise of big money is like playing the lottery. You might get it, you might not get it, but what it keeps bringing you back to that surprise big GP, like when people go to corp, is that big surprise that you might get 500 mil, that you may get a billion. But how often does that happen? Not often. You should see a loot table. So whenever in RuneScape you're struggling, and also with life, to make a good living, you have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing worth my time? Because time is money. You always have to remember that time is money, money is time. So if you are spending so much time trying to make money on RuneScape, on raids or whatever, and you're not good enough, because I'm not good enough at raids and I only do it for fun. Sure, I like to learn, but I wouldn't do that as a money maker because to me it's a waste of time. I don't have that much time. I work very hard every week. And the days that I have off, I like to have fun killing suck. And I don't know if you have it. Well, that's not even an investment. That's a waste of time. Every time I go in is 1.3 million, but that's fun. I consider Saturdays and Sundays my days of fun, and I can spend money on and do whatever I want. But from Monday till Friday, I have to make money, and that's important. That's a discipline, and it's not like you're playing this game to to develop a work habit or something. But I see a lot of people that complain, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. If you want to think why you don't have enough money, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing for money? If you're doing a constant money making method, sure, it might take you a while to get the money that you want. But if you keep killing stuff that drops stuff so little to nothing, then don't expect anything because you're relying on luck. And if you're relying on luck, that's not a skill, that's luck. If you just rely on, like, for example, having like 2 3 accounts running an AFK money making method, you can easily beat somebody that gets a third HP kicks within a year or something. If they get it in 3 days, sure, they can beat you on the money making method. But what's the odds of that? You always have to ask yourself when you're making money in this game, because that's why I think people find it so hard to make money in this game. You always have to ask yourself, how much money am I making on this so far? How many hours have I put in? You always have to time that. I have a notepad of all my suck attempts, 272 attempts, by the way. And until recently, until last week, I was able to kill it. So you always have to ask yourself, how many hours did I put into this? How many time? It's important for you to have control. Why? Because that way you don't fool yourself. What happens if you, let's say you got an X, okay, you got an X, sure, and you are there, 3,000 kills. Well, let's not be that extreme. 800 kills, and you don't get absolutely anything. Do you know how much you spend every time that you go in? Do you know how much have you spent being on there? And a lot of people don't keep track of their resources. Look at this. Look at my resources. I keep track of every single thing that I spend. Food, prayer potions, and combat and everything. Why? Why is that important to me? Because it's important to know how much I spend per trip and how much I'm getting back. That's the basis of money making. If you For example, if you're like a friend of mine that doesn't play this game anymore and just go to Rune Dragons, for example, and he says, I just made 8 point, no, 1.6 million. No, you didn't. You have to subtract the resources, and that's probably like 200K less. So you made 1.4, dude. And the guy was like, no, 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 I made this because I used cheap food. Okay, and how much that costs per hour? Don't fool yourself. Don't think that not adding the resources will benefit you. But back to the next analogy, let's say that you are there 600 kills, and let's say each kill costs like 800K. And okay, let's say you kill it for 600 kills and you get nothing. So 800 kills per 600, how much money do you invest and how much are you getting back? Probably not much. So that's the basis of money making on this game. Um, Constant money making can beat every single other money maker in the world in this game. You can say, sure, but this famous streamer just went and got into a willy with all his bank and he direct bomb another guy and now he has like 30 billion. Okay, sure. Um, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. You know, people that gamble get a lot of money, but that's a very small success rate. It's just like somebody that wins the lottery and all of a sudden you think you can win the lottery. Sure, but what are your chances, man? What are your chances? Like, for example, when you um let's say when you buy a lottery ticket that you're going to win, there's just going to be one winner. How many people do you know that are rich because of the no people that you know? No, I'm not saying known people. Known people is a different thing. Somebody that you know personally that has won a death match on the wilderness and now it's rich. Probably you don't know that many. And if you do, they're on Twitch and they don't even talk to you directly. So you always have to ask yourself. That's why I don't play the lottery IRL because I think it's a waste of money. The chances are so slim. You can ask people on the streets, how many years have you been playing lottery? Oh, 20 years, 30 years. Have you gotten anything? No, but I'm about to. That hope, that eternal hope that you will get somebody is what keeps bringing people back. And it's the same thing for these bosses on RuneScape. Um, you can see, oh yeah, rates 3 is like 10 mil an hour. No, it's not. If you don't get a drop, because you can get like 1 to 2 kills per hour in like that 500 difficulty or whatever, and most likely you and me are not people that are speedrunners or anything. We're just your average Joe. So we probably will get maybe 1 kill every 2 hours, or maybe not even 1 kill per hour because we died because of a mistake. So let me ask you, how much money are you really making? Do you time yourself? And that's what I do. I time myself every time that I get something. I try to be as efficient as possible. Just like a guy that told me that this fang is worse than the lance, and I have timed this so much, and the lance always comes first. With the lance, you can make like 47 kills. With this, I can make from 48 to 50. So he's completely wrong. But since the wiki says that you should use the lance, he goes by what the wiki says. And I ask him this tricky question. Well, it's not tricky. It's so simple. Ask him, how much do you make per trip? How many dragons do you kill per inventory? Have you ever timed this per hour? And his answers were like, I don't know. So I guess the DPS calculator is wrong. I'm like, dude, I'm not asking you that question. You sound like a politician. I'm asking you, have you ever timed this before with bathroom breaks, with lunch breaks, with I don't know, having a sip of water, taking a break? Have you ever timed this before Lance versus Fang? And he tells me no. So I tells him, so if you don't know, then my best suggestion is that don't suggest the stuff that are not good for other people. I'm like, I have been here quite a while. I can show you my KC later. I got 200 mil attack here, so you can see that I have been here a lot of time. But it's just that consistency will beat every single one. Uh, for example, here's another example that I would like to give you. Let's say that you're a speedrunner on Suck, okay, on the Inferno, and you have a bad luck, and you keep trying to get a task, trying to get a task, trying to get a task, and you're not a good speedrunner. You're a learner, okay? And you go in the Inferno, and you're rushing through these waves, and you have 20 minutes in, and you're on like wave 40, but you go to like wave 60, wave 50, and you die, and then you have to get another task. By the time you do that, I already finished 1 kill of Suck. So if your main goal was to get a kill, I can do that in a more chill way and in a more efficient way, and probably be on top of you on the high scores if that's your intention, just by being consistent. Consistency and discipline can beat any single thing here. And the fact that, all those money makers that promise you big rewards, yes, they exist, but you have to ask yourself, if you don't have the RNG, and I don't, most of the times, then you have to ask yourself, was all the time those 200 hours or 100 hours worth? And you have to calculate that. That's why I ask every single person that plays this game, you're trying to make money, um, time yourself, check how much you spend to make that money method. Um, Check per hour with a chronometer or with a watch or whatever with your computer's time how much money you make per hour, and be realistic. Don't time it for just 15 minutes like, oh, I made 400K in 15 minutes, so if we multiply that by 4 it's 1.2. No sir, because you might get rares, you might get something unusual, so you have to add that to the average also, or subtract that to the average. To me, a good average is around 3 to 4 hours, and you can see how many kills you get per hour, how much money you get per hour. So that's pretty much my advice for people trying to make money in this game. The main thing is know what you can do and what you can't do. So, for example, if you're a guy that works full time, you have to go to the office, you cannot even play mobile, then you might think about those money making methods where you make, you go to a corporal base and you rent an instance and you go there like 2 times a week trying to get a sigil. That might be okay for you, but don't expect much. But if you're a guy that works from home and your job doesn't require you to be constantly on your computer and you can play this game while working, then consider the AFK methods like rune dragons, degriming herbs, killing wyverns, whatever that is more than a mil per hour. That's my advice. Whatever is more than 1 mil per hour is good. If you choose something that it's less than a mil per hour, think about multiple accounts. Think about an investment. So, for example, if you're a single guy that has an account and it's killing rune dragons and you're maxing combat, what you can think about is having an alt account, and you might think, oh, but that takes so long. Yeah, it takes a while to build, but Nightmare Zone makes everything easy, and then you just have to quest and maybe kill Jad, and that can take you less than an hour. So you have to check how much time, and you can check this on this log, how many time it takes you to create an alt, how much time it takes you to create to do the quest, and how much it takes you to train. And well, based on that, you can make a calculation if making the other account is worth it. But if you can play or do something AFK while you do this, some people might say, oh, dude, I flip, I merge. Sure, you can. But how much are you actually making per hour doing that? I'm not saying just have your money like me on the bank doing nothing, because probably that's not a good investment idea. But don't let people tell you what money making method works for you. Only you know what works well for you because you know yourself. But if somebody keeps telling you, we should go to rate 3, we should go to next, we should go to the nightmare because we can get good drops, and you stop your money making method and then you lose constant money with them because either you have to tank or you have to put a lot of resources and you have to spend like 20, 30 hours nothing. Think about how much money you have spent so far with them and if it's even worth doing that type of content. If you think, no, I'm better off just killing Borkat because it's a constantly money maker, maybe you're right. Maybe you can overpass every single person that you know because you are very good at Borkat. And so far, you're getting 2 mil per hour or even more. Then just kill Borkat. It might be boring, but so is work sometimes. Sometimes you get tired of work doing the same thing over and over, but gets the bills paid. Think about RuneScape on the same level that you have to do certain things to have fun. You need money to have fun. You need money to do X, Y, and Z. So maybe if you don't like the money method, but you can stick to it, try to learn to like it. Because if you don't, and you keep looking for alternative methods of money making, you'll end up quitting this game because you'll be like, oh, Raids 3 sucks, Next sucks, Fosani sucks, I never get anything, Corrupted Gauntlet sucks, Hydra sucks. Okay, everything sucks. Yes, if you're relying on RNG and it's not constant money, everything will suck if you don't get anything. So that's why I'm telling you, constant money. even though if it's AFK or something, if you're getting more than a mil per hour and somebody's just killing a monster and losing money every time that they do that, and they're spending hours after hours after hours, sure, they can make them a better player PVM wise, but you will have the upper hand because you will have more money. And if you have more money, therefore you have more time, you have more gear, you have more stuff to learn. Not everything about this game is gear, but a lot of spins around that concept. So basically, you want upgrades. Maybe you want a better sword, you want a better defender, you want a better shield. And sure, you can go for cheaper alternatives and they work as well. But what I notice is that people just do raids and all that type of intensive content because they want cash, not because they want to have fun. If they want to have fun, they do something else. Rarely I have met somebody that doesn't get upset when they go to a raid over and over and don't get anything. So that's my point. What works for you, only you know. If you can find an AFK method that you can do while I work, do it. If you cannot find anything that works for you and you have to just play a little bit of this game every now and then, try to relax and say, okay, I rely on luck. So whatever I get, if it's profit, I will take it. And don't torture yourself unless you are like me and you're always focused on money making every time that you're on, unless when I'm off. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about on this video, is that even though that you think that the wiki tells you what is the best money making method, no, that is not true for everybody, and you should choose whatever you feel like, whatever you think you're good at, and choose your path. Go for it, and don't let anybody tell you how to make money on this game, because we're all different. You can be so good at Borcat that you can destroy me in money making per hour, even when I have 3 accounts. So if you're good at something and you like it, those are the keys that you need to follow on this game in order to not quit and not be upset about money. If you like, killing corrupted gauntlet, but you're only getting a mil per hour, but you like it and you don't get bored of it, then do it. If you like killing rune dragons, but it gets you bored, then do it for a moment, then stop. But always remind yourself that consistency can beat anybody in this game. It's just a matter of keep on going, just like everything in life. The discipline and consistency will beat anybody that, says, oh, I want I got this super high risky job that will benefit me. Yeah, but for one success story, there's a million failures. So I just want to finish this with my KC at Rune Dragons, 224,000. So, well, you can say that I have been here a long time and I don't get bored of this, because my mentality is, if it works for me and I can make money and I don't get bored, then it's a good money making method. I'm not going to leave this place. I still have other stuff I want to save and buy. So, like I said, just visualize what is your goal, what is the time you have available, and make a pie chart on your mind on how many times you spend working, sleeping, eating, going out, etc., and how much time you have for RuneScape. And I know that sounds a little bit extreme, but if you want to be like good in this game, or to have money, you pretty much can do. I mean, you can arrange that pie chart so you can put it in your favor. And every time that you want a specific item, ask yourself, how can I get it in a long term? Put yourself goals that are measurable, that you can say, okay, from 1 month to here, I will have a, I don't know, full justiciar. It's a doable goal. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to kill Borcat. Why? Because maybe I'm getting 3 mil an hour from Borcat. Justiciar costs, I don't know, 30 mil, 40 mil. So maybe 10 hours of Borcat, but not do it on the same day because you'll get burned out. You can do an hour every day. So in 10 days, you have your Justiciar. Good, right? If you do 5 hours one day, 5 hours on the other, then in 2 days, you buy Justiciar. You're even more pump. Divide your hours, divide your profit, divide your goals, and never surrender to the fact that I don't have money and you have to go to this crazy uh, ways to make money, or you get dragged into somebody social engineering you to give them their money, or give it to somebody to gamble it for you. Don't do that crap. Never gamble. It's never a good thing. um, Whoever tells me gambling is good and you can win so much, as you can win so much, you can lose so much. So to me, consistency can beat anybody. I'm not super rich, but I know that what I have makes me happy. The hard work that I put in this game pays off to me. and I'm happy with what I have, and I'll continue doing what I do because it's my consistency that makes me happy. And I try to share that with everybody that I know, that this game is just a matter of organizing yourself on how you want to do stuff. For example, maxing. You can get almost all the 99s for free, except like for three of them. And pretty much you just have to research a little bit more. And if a YouTube video doesn't sound right for you, even though the guy is super famous or the girl is super famous, don't feel bad because the method doesn't work for you. So don't compare yourself to people that do this for a living, play this game for a living, because you and me, the average Joe, don't do that. We just play this game to have fun and to grind sometimes and to do some hilarious stuff, buy stuff, unwind. So that's how you have to see it. Don't compare yourself to other people. You are not other people. And I extended myself a little bit in the ending, but that's all I want to say. And if this video helped you with a little bit or some insights, let me know. Have a good one. Bye bye.